Hi guys, Ken here again for the PlayStation crowd, and this time with a review of Tales from the Borderlands, Episode 1 Zero Sum. It's a game by Telltale, with some obvious help from Gearbox and 2K Games. Now right from the start you can see they've used the art style that is unique to Borderlands. And I must admit I was a little bit concerned when they first announced this as to how you would take a loot-driven first-person RPG shooter and turn it into a Telltale game, the current point-and-click adventure style. But they've done a fantastic job. It's really enjoyable. They've really fleshed out the story and the characters. Now, speaking of the characters, if you're a fan of the Borderlands games, you will recognise some faces that make an appearance in this, such as Zero, as the title gives away, makes an appearance in this episode. And there's a few that are missing that I was quite surprised by. I mean, there's no Claptrap that shows up, which to me is a bit strange, as he is very much a staple of Borderlands. But you do still have the whole Marcus intro, which I've conveniently cut from here to try and be as spoiler free as possible. Voice actors in this case, you've got the names like Troy Baker, you've got Nolan North, you've got Patrick Warburton, all fleshing out a brilliantly done voice cast. But as with all Telltale games, it's all about the story. Now, I've tried to cut this down as much as I can to avoid spoilers, because I really think you should play it to get the full feel for it. But you play as this gentleman here, whose name we'll find out in just a moment, and another character called Fiona. Now again, to avoid spoilers, I've removed as much as I can of the Fiona side of it. You don't see her at all during the video clips here, as I really didn't want to spoil any part of it. But this guy, he's Reese. Now anytime a new character is introduced, as with Borderlands, you do get that freeze frame brief moment like we're going to get here with Reese's boss. Now the reason that Reese, a Hyperion company man, is down on Pandora is that his boss here decided that he was going to make him, well, he was going to give him a promotion. He was going to promote him to assistant vice janitor, which obviously isn't exactly what Reese was expecting, and so Reese decides that he's going to foil his boss's plan by taking 10 million from the company banks, coming down to Pandora and buying a vault key. He's not alone, he's got a friend with him called Vaughn. He's got another friend who can help him out with some technical stuff, which you'll see in a moment. And he's got a few gadgets up his sleeve. Now this little thing here, his little eye, you may remember from Borderlands 2 how Handsome Jack had two different coloured eyes. Well, it turns out the blue eye there was a computer scanner. Now when playing as Reese, it's actually worth scanning almost everything that you can when you see it, more than anything else for the humour side of it, which does come across quite well. Lots of the little flavour text and little hints that they've done right the way through the Borderlands series. Now combat does happen as well. It's a little bit surprising. I was expecting something but not quite this, which is it is your standard quick time event, but in this particular case here Reese is summoning a loader bot. Now that can be customised. You can choose whether he has a shield or a machine gun as a primary weapon, rockets or grenades as a secondary weapon, and depending on what you choose depends on how this whole scene plays out. Now again, I've cut out a huge chunk of it because I don't want to spoil it. It is well worth playing through to find out what happens, but you will at least see how some of the combat works. Again, humour is very much involved in this game, and the loaderbot himself, after this scene, does provide some quite witty banter and such. Now, there's a few hints of things like Terminator in there, and a few other sort of old-style robot comments. But it's just, it adds more flavour to the game, and it keeps that style going all the way through. Now as you can see from here, as I mentioned earlier, combat is very much quick time event, so swipe to the left to dodge missiles and such. But it still works well, and it's still, despite the fact that you don't shoot things yourself and so on, it still feels like a Borderlands game. So they have done an excellent job at recreating that. Some of the set pieces are actually quite cinematic as well, and funny, and well worth the time.
Well, now I know why these cost so much.
I mean, as a Borderlands game itself, it's well worth playing through. I'm highly looking forward to the next set in the series. Just briefly there's Fiona that I mentioned earlier. And now we have to score the game. So I would say, based on the fact that it shows so much potential, even though this is only episode 1, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Highly worth your attention. Give it a look. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.